Okay, so I'm going to hit this with my Z-bend pliers to make myself a pushrod, and we will stick that again into that outermost hole, like so. Come back here and we're going to put it in the outermost hole on this control horn. And, oh, that's not hooked up. Actually, what we may do, stick it on the second hole out. Reason for that being, we definitely do not need an excess of elevator travel on this airplane. Alright, so what I'm doing is bending this guy. If you've got the adjustable linkages, you can use those. There's definitely nothing saying you can't. I just don't particularly recommend them. But like I said, if you gotta, you gotta. And I seem to have screwed this one up slightly. And losing my grip on it. There we go. Bingo. Now what we're going to do is we are going to clip this a little bit long. And I'll explain why here in a second. So I want to clip this so that there is no way that once I close up the fuselage that it can come free. Because I'm not actually going to put a retainer on this guy. What I'm going to do is use some finagling here and go in there. There we go. Alright, so that push rod is in there, and it's not going to come out. And, forgot to hook it back up. Let me verify again the, I just want to verify I've got plenty of elevator travel. I know that doesn't look like huge, like huge throws, but that's a lot. And with that, we can go ahead and unplug that guy, we can power down, and we can close up the bottom of the fuselage. And yes, telemetry's been lost. So, we will be back once I get a few things out of the way here. The bottom of the fuselage. So the way that we're going to do that is we're just going to go down here, down these score lines. So now I can peel all of this out of here. So I'll pop that open just so that allows me to go in there. We'll go ahead and flex these back. So we just want to do a test fit, make sure everything is happy, haven't messed up anywhere along the way. And we're all looking mighty fine here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the front and just work my way back section by section on this fuselage bottom here. Don't skimp on glue on the forward section because Pylon type airplanes do take a beating and we want everything to be securely glued. And even with the glue, afterwards we're going to come in and we're going to use some packing tape to reinforce it even more. So now we'll come in and we're just going to continue the same process here. Last step here is to go ahead and we'll attach the vertical stab, just so you can, you can't run around the house making airplane noises with your unfinished airplane until the vertical stab is installed, because anything else would make you look silly. There you go, vertical stab in place. So there's our fuselage. We'll set that aside. Now we're going to make our little power pod. So the power pod goes together like so. Also, caution, hot glue really is hot. And there we go. I'll be right back with some super glue and we'll assemble the firewall. Okay, so for our firewall, we have these little pieces right here and they fit into the slots like so. And remember that the holes here go at the back for your bamboo skewers. I have fitted everything in here a little too tightly, but if you do it all just right and don't have as much excess glue as I do, all of this will fit in here. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to hot glue all of this in place. Don't want to take any chances of our firewall coming out. you go. So at this point we should be able to do a test fit here to verify that the firewall does indeed fit in here like so. Looks good. Now we can pull it loose. Everything's holding together. So we'll be back in a minute with to proceed to the next step. Okay, so we have 2 of our 9-gram servos powered up here. And what we're going to want to do is arrange them sort of like this, where you can flip them around back this way. I like this way so I can have my wire a little easier to route up here. Now these holes are a little undersized, so there are a couple things that I am going to recommend that you do go ahead and clip off the mounting tabs for these, because those are just going to get in the way. We are going to enlarge the servo pockets in the print files or cut files, so you will not have to worry about that part in the future. But in the meantime, you do have to at least deal with cutting the tabs off, because all those are doing is wasting space in here. So let me check this one more time. Still need to cut out a little bit more for the control horn. Like I said, you will not have to do this, but I'm showing it anyway because I don't like to hide things from people on how build videos proceed. Now, I have gone ahead and made sure all my trims are centered and whatnot, so I'm just making sure I have plenty of travel here and whatnot, nothing is off or what have you. This is what I'm looking for right here. Do need to widen this out just a little bit here. And so it'll fit in like that. All right, we'll plug this guy real quick. This comes up like so, and here we go. So just like that. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to clip this this control horn on here, because we definitely do not need anywhere near that level of control authority. So I'm leaving 3 holes still sticking out here, and that's going to be gracious plenty for this airplane. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to glue this guy in. We're actually going to end up gluing both of them in here in just a second. You want to seal the servo in pretty well, just because you don't want it wandering around, and it is exposed a little bit. And there you go. Now we will plug this one back in here, so I can remember which one's which. our second one into play here. We've got it all centered up and everything as well. And I didn't cut out enough on that servo pocket. So let me go ahead and do that. There we go. And there we go. So we'll go ahead and plug this all up just to verify once more. Everything works as it should. So at this point we can go ahead and create some push rods here. And we want these set to be flush here. And I didn't get mine quite right, but that's okay. You can always trim it out of there later. Everything's looking good. And I cut that one a little bit long. There we go. Now, everything's looking good. I got a little bit of sub trimming to work out right here, but that's what's important right there. So at this point, everything is good to go on that end of things. Go ahead and power down here, and we're going to get our speed controller set up ready, and all that to fly this airplane. So our next task is we want to go ahead and install our Pt.2 radial, or whatever radial, or sorry, whatever brushless motor you choose to use in this airplane. I'm choosing the radial just because I think it is probably about the most robust power system you can obtain for this airplane. I have to make sure I have an Allen wrench. Here we go. Same Allen wrench I use for my discus launch gliders. So what we're going to do is we'll go ahead and mount this motor in here. I'm going to do most of this off camera because I can think of few things more boring than watching me fight with an Allen wrench. So I screwed up you need to make sure you thread the motor wires through beforehand. Otherwise you get to do this job twice. And it's less fun the second time because there's nothing fun about this particular task. So anyway, I'll be back when I get it set up correctly. Okay, so now at this point we want to go ahead and install our power system here. So I've got the speed controller hooked up, I checked the direction of rotation, everything and everybody is happy. So we stuck our entire power system down inside. Fit our motor in here. Firewall assembly, all that jazz. Now at this point, as long as we made sure everything is flush mounted, bamboo skewer fits straight on through like it ought to. I'm going to go ahead and cut it off here. And this one fits kind of loose. In the future that'll be addressed a little better, but for now I'm going to we'll secure that with hot glue after I get the glue gun heated back up. In the meantime, we're going to go ahead and we're going to address wing mounting stuff and whatnot, because we want to do our CG checks and all that good stuff. Everything's looking good here. I want to go ahead and power the airplane up for the moment. Now the one thing you want to do is go ahead and slide your speed controller as far up forward as the systems here will allow. I'm going to go get a servo extension for the elevator servo. Okay, so we got everything put together here, kind of. We'll go ahead and power up here. Actually, well, yeah, we'll power up. This is a 1300 milliamp battery, so this is not really what you want. But all we're trying to do is just show you the basic setup here. I actually have violated a couple of rules here. So the thing you want to do is you're assembling this, because this is a Pylon chip, and that means everything fits in with about half of the amount of space that a normal human being would put it in here with. Before you say, oh, it's a terrible design, that's the way everybody does it, because extra space is weight and drag. So we're going to go ahead and we'll rubber band this wing on. Probably you'll want to use two rubber bands per side here, since I'm just doing basic setup, checking CG and whatnot. And my CG, let me show you here. CG is right about here, which is about where you want it to be on a bird like this. Alright, so we're going to check that all of our controls are running correctly. We'll do a brief run up here. Everything looks good there. So that's again, that's on and throttle cut is engaged. So that's just on 3 cells. So kind of a wimpy power package so far. I'm checking my directions here. I do have actually this thing programmed for a couple of flight modes here. And we'll fiddle with all those. That's the one I'm going to want to be in anyway. That'll make a good spoiler on mode. So last thing I need to do is reverse my my elevator servo here. And we'll get there here in a minute. Alright, so we're all looking good there. I'm going to put some sub-trim in the wrong way. And I do recommend a fair amount of Expo. May not need it, but it's there. Alright, so with that, having shown you all that crazy silliness that's not really relevant, I have left an important thing off. And that important thing is you want to put some shrink tube on these aileron control horns, and I'll come back, I'll show you that just so that you see that it's a thing and it should be done. Okay, so what I was going to tell you is I put insulation right here, and that just keeps those control horns, control rods staying on there. So at this point, airplane's ready to fly. I checked my CGs right here. I'm going to maiden this on a 3-cell 800, and we'll kind of go from there and see how it all goes. So, we'll see you. Hi, I'm Josh Finn. This is Hope. We are J&H Aerospace.
If you like this video, hit the like button.
Also, how about subscribe to our channel and check out jhaerospace.com for new free flight products and all of the tooling that you'll need to build them.
Thanks for watching.